So, who here has Instagram? Anyone have Instagram out here? Okay. Yep, I have Instagram. Now, recently on my Explore page, there's this one, you know when you like get on the weird side of TikTok, like on Instagram? Like just that weird, like, I got to the weird side recently, and there's this guy named Zach D Films. Have you guys, just the most like heinous like CGI like VFX like stories of just different injuries happening, like the worst, most brutal injuries you can think of, and it's some foul stuff where I'm like, how messed up does this guy have to like be in the booth like yeah people want to see this and just like create that it's just. He needs Jesus. That's all I can think about. Now, if you guys have ever seen it, great. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, don't look it up. It's not worth it. Zach D Films, if you guys are wondering. Zach D Films. Don't look it up, though, okay? So, as we dive into our message, I want to ask, who here has a really high pain tolerance? Anyone here have, like, they can take the pain? They're like, yeah, just, okay. I feel like all the women put their hands up. Men, we're humble. God bless you guys. Here's what we're going to do. We're gonna share with our neighbor your worst injury, okay? Like the most painful thing you guys ever experienced, okay? So share with someone beside you. I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute to share the most painful, worst injury, okay? Go. Do you guys have one? You have one? You don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah, yeah. All right. It looks like I'm seeing a few like faces like, oh yeah, I know that one. All right. Who here wants to share with the class some of your answers? Let's hear it. So everyone pay attention. Let's hear what Elijah has to say. Oh, Elijah, I'm so sorry. I can't hear you. There's too much yapping going on. Shh. Let's hear it. You what down your stairs? You rolled down your stairs? Like on purpose or like? I don't. No one judge me on this. As a kid, we used to like roll downstairs for fun. I don't know why we did that. Just one of them ones. But it was like 5, 6 steps. It's not. Don't judge. Don't. I see the judgment. All right. Who else wants to share like a really heinous? All right, Grace. Oh. How many stitches? 7 stitches? Are they still there? Like, is it like the mark still there? Or? Oh, dang. Okay. Who else? Who thinks they can beat that one? I just want to like not make. You broke your arm falling off what? A bike? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Okay. Sorry. I remember one day my dad. There was like you guys know what like a ripstick is? It's like this like 2-wheel skateboard. Yeah. My dad. I used to ride with my dad all the time. Like not he wasn't riding, but I was riding and my dad was just there. And then we see like a small hill and he was like, "You should go down it." I'm like, "I don't want to." My dad, out of all people, was like, "What, are you scared?" I'm like, okay, I go down it, and when I go down it, you know when you like lose faith? I jump off the ripstick midway down the hill, and I just get the like gnarliest scars on that. Okay, let's hear it. Fractured your hip? Oh, I know the hip. You can't walk with that then if your hip's out. Okay, all right. Let's hear Reese last one. Do you think it's worse than hers? Like she fractured her hip. Yeah, like God, that's you what? All right, let's hear it. That's not funny. Oh. All right, if you guys didn't hear what he said, I'm so sorry. That's not funny. When he was 4 years old, he was jumping on a bed and you fell headfirst into a TV stand. That's not funny. Don't laugh at that. That's not funny. Don't. Yes. Okay, last one. Then we'll call. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Shh. I want everyone to hear this. Okay, let's hear Leah's talk. We have to hear it. Into a car? Oh. Your dog was skateboarding too? I'm fine. All right, so she said you were skateboarding with your dog. All right, so today we're talking about just painful, bad, difficult, hard times, okay? We're talking about all those different kinds of things, okay? We're talking about just hard, difficult times that we go through. And hard times are inevitable. Who here's been through a hard time before? Let me see hands. All right, 70% of you guys are liars. That's cool. So we're all talking about hard times. Hard times are inevitable. In our schooling, who here has exams? Anyone has exams coming up? Oh, bless you guys. Maybe in our friendships, you guys have hard times in your friendships, little drama here and there. It's some unnecessary stuff that like cuts the deepest. Like I hear the wildest things. In our family, there's some hard times that might happen. I know about that. And some of us might be going through some hard times even right now. And the thing about hard times is that they can last a while, and they could really suck. And even like it might just be like going through a storm and not knowing that the sun's behind those clouds. You know, it's a really tough time because all you can see is just that difficulty. And what I want to talk about today is how we can respond to those hard times. Now we're going to dive into the book of John, chapter 11. Some of you guys already know the story. It's a little bit of reading, so just bear with me as I read it. And I did skip a few verses because I want to focus on some parts. Okay, so don't call me a heretic if some stuff's missing. So it says this. Now, a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. Okay, so there's lore back there. There's some backstory here. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, and she said, "Lord, the one you love is sick." When he heard this, Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death. No, it's for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." Now, Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. Valid response. And then he said to his disciples, "Let's go back to Judea." After he had said this, he went on to tell them, "Our friend Lazarus had fallen asleep, but I'm going to go wake him up." His disciples said, "Lord, if he sleeps, he'll get better." And Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So then he told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad I am not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him." On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been there, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet. And she also said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died." When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in the spirit and troubled. And we know this part says, Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Now, it's a lot of scripture. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's say a prayer together. God, thank you so much for this time you've given us today. And as all of us here clearly have gone through some painful experiences before, we all know what pain feels like. We all know what difficult times feel like, Lord. I'm praying that you help us to open up our hearts and our minds to what you have to say in this time. In Jesus' name. And everybody said? Amen. Now, there's some questions that I always get when I read this story, and there's some really like pressing things that I always think about. And it starts from this one verse. It's verse 5 through 6. It says this is the verse, yeah. And just read the verses that are the words are in a different color. Can we do that? All right. So it says this. Now Jesus, Martha, and her sister and Lazarus. So when that Lazarus was sick, where he was 2 more days. His response to hearing about his sickness was to stay there for longer. Why did Jesus let Lazarus die is the first question that comes to my mind. Why did he stay there for 2 more days? If your best friend was dying, if you know that your best friend was dying, what would you do in that moment? If you're in a different town, if you were in a different area, what would you do? You'd go visit them. Thank you. Yeah, you'd want to go see them. And even the bigger thing, if you had the cure to heal them, you'd go see them. And when Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick, his response was just to stay where he was and not do anything. In my mind, when I read that, it doesn't sound like that's love. I don't think if Jesus really loved them, I think he would leave immediately. I don't think it's real love. And I question God's love so many times in my life. I said, God, if you love me, my dad wouldn't have lost his job when I was 15 years old. He wouldn't have gone through that. He did nothing wrong. He worked hard. His tenants loved him. He was honest. He even hosted Bible studies in his home that he had from this job. He did all these different things. But here's the thing. I didn't know what God was doing in that moment. And here's the thing. I don't think that God causes all bad things to happen, but God always wants to work in every bad thing. And that's my first point for today. God is always on time. Everyone say God is on time. God is always on time, but he's just on a different type of time. He's on a different time than all of us because we think about things in our own temporary mindset. Our view is limited in life. God has an eternal mindset. To us, Jesus waiting behind isn't what love looks like. But in God's mind, in the eternal mindset, he loves them too much to just heal Lazarus. He had a bigger purpose going on there. He loved them too much. And the things that we grieve about isn't how eternity looks at it. Here's the thing, God's timing doesn't always make sense. Now, God's timing looks like going from being dad's favorite to being sold into slavery by your brothers. It looks like even while you're being a slave, you get told that you're falsely accused of sexual assault, and then you're put into a prison. And then years later, it looks like finally becoming the second most powerful person in the country that you're in. Who knows that story? Who knows? Who can say out loud what that is? Say it out loud. Uh-huh. Joseph. I thought you said Moses, and I was about to get on. I'm playing no. But yeah, exactly. Joseph. We know about Joseph's story, but here's the thing. It took years for Joseph to see God's fruit. Of all the hard things that he went through, he went to back-to-back bad things. And he didn't do anything wrong. Now, he was a little cocky in the beginning of when I read about it, but he was faithful to God every step of the way, and it just looked like God left him at different points. But every single time that he went through those bad things, he didn't run away from God. He kept running to God. And God's timing could look like a lot of bad things. It could look like losing a relationship that you thought you needed, but it was actually hurting you. It's a thing called addition by subtraction. I just learned about it this week. I told you guys a while ago I lost a friendship, a close friend of mine, and we stopped being friends. And I thought, man, God, like I lost this thing. Why would this happen? And I didn't realize how much I gained from that. And some of us might need to lose some toxic friends and just be in the place that God has for you before you gain something else. Sometimes we don't know what God's saving us from. And sometimes we don't know what God's setting us up for too. And the biggest thing is it's not over until God says it's over. When I read that passage the first time, when Jesus said, this sickness will not end in death, I was like, Lazarus died though. He's dead. But the truth is it didn't end there. Even when we thought it was over, even when we thought he's dead, it's done. When we think our situations are too far gone, when we think it's done, it's over, I can't do anything about it, God's greater than those things. And Jesus showed that. He said, death right there, that thing that you think is the end, that thing you think is there's no return, it's over from there, there's no redemption, I got more after that. There's still more to come. It's not over till God says it's over. God's always on time, just on a different type of time. And that's the first note right there. Second thing, I always ask myself, why did Jesus cry? A lot of us are like, oh, he's just understanding. But I'm like, why did he cry, though? Like, for me, it's like if I have, like, a birthday gift planned in mind for someone, and they're, like, crying about, oh, I didn't get this thing, I'm giggling. I'm like, oh, they look so dumb. They got to wait. Like, I know at the end of the day how it's going to go. Jesus already knew that Lazarus was going to die. He knew things were going to work out. He knew what he was going to do. He was going to raise him from the dead. He knew these things. And even though he said it himself, he said he was glad the disciples were going through those things. But my second point is we have to process the pain. Because just because we know how things are going to work out, it doesn't take away the pain. It doesn't take away the feelings that we go through. It doesn't take away the hurting that we experience. And here's the thing. The plan doesn't take away the pain. And Jesus also, he wanted to show us that he understands what we're going through. Even if he knows things are going to not work out. It's okay to not be okay. Last month, I don't know if you guys know Pastor Dawson, he passed away, and he went with the Lord. And for me, it was tough because even though I know he's with God right now, he's in a better place than ever, it still stung. Even though I knew the end goal, I knew it was for the best, I knew that there was something great at the end, he's celebrating in heaven, it still hurt me, and I still had to grieve. And I had to learn it's okay to not be okay. A lot of us think that we have to put on a smiling face. A lot of us think that we have to be strong for each other, or we have to do all these different things. God never said that. It's okay to not be okay. And some of us feel like it's not biblical to be mad. It's not biblical to go through these things. It's not biblical for me to pray to God and tell him about, I'd rather just say, God, thank you for this day, thank you for this food, thank you for my brother, my sister, this. And that's what I have to pray about. I can't pray about, no, God can handle your emotions. God can take those things. If you guys even read the Psalms, I've told God how I've been upset with him, I've been frustrated with him. God, he can be frustrating. God doesn't make sense sometimes, amen? Some of y'all are, okay, y'all feel me. Here's the thing, God can handle your emotions. David was honest. King David wrote all of it down, and there's some brutal stuff in there. Y'all should read it yourself. And we're going to talk about the main question, though, okay? So why do bad things happen? Why does a loving God allow bad things to happen? All right, I got to, some of y'all can boo me if you guys want for this first point, but, like, just give me 1 second, please. Okay, the first point, promise you won't be mad. The first thing, you can put it up on the screen. the first reason why bad things happen, please don't take it personally, it's our own actions, okay? We do this to ourselves. Some of these things. I know it sounds like the pastor saying this. Yes, it's your fault, okay? It's not to make you guys feel bad, though. Who here knows someone who lacks, like, just self-awareness, just completely oblivious? Okay, who are you sitting next to that person? No? Oh, I see some of y'all kept that up. Put that down, man. Here's the thing. Everyone knows someone who lacks self-awareness, okay? We all know someone who lacks self-awareness, okay? Like a person who complains about every situation they're in. And if you guys don't know that person, it might be you. But here's the thing. I know some people, they're like, why does everyone dislike me? And they just say the most, like, disrespectful things about everyone. I'm like, you don't see the correlation right here? Like, and here's the thing. There's a lot of different things I see. Now, a few months ago, I was dealing with a lot of dizziness and lightheadedness. It was rough. Whenever I tried like exerting myself too much, I just feel really lightheaded. And I was like, I know I'm getting older, but I'm not that old. I don't know what's going on. And I start feeling lightheaded every single time in like a slightly like high temperature. I went to the doctor. I was like, I got to get this checked out. So the doctor like gets the blood test ready. They're like looking for my veins. They can't find it. There's nothing there. And it's not like I got like a lot here, but like she can't find the veins. Checks the other arm. Checks it. She's like, sir, are you alive? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, when was the last time you drank water? I'm like, I thought about it. I was like, oh, yesterday I had a cup of water. That's true. And she was like, sir, you're dehydrated. I can't find your veins. And immediately it hit me in that moment. I'm not drinking any water. I caused the thing that I'm dealing with, but I didn't even recognize it until I was at the doctor's room. And a lot of us, we go through things that we caused and we don't even recognize it. A lot of you guys are like, Pastor, I'm just so drained. I'm tired. When I ask, how you guys doing? I'm tired. And I'm like, what time do you sleep? 5 a.m. Like, Marvel Rivals, what? TikTok, Zach D films. I always want to watch all the injuries. I don't know what y'all do, but we caused it ourselves, and then we're wondering, why am I in this position? We caused those things itself. Oh, man, I'm having a hard time in school right now. It's just not applying to me. We didn't pick up the textbook at all. I'm not trying to judge you guys. I'm just trying to point out the reality. I feel so lonely. A lot of us, I feel this deep loneliness. And then on the meantime, when you're scrolling through Instagram, all the models are there. A secret addiction to pornography, masturbation, all these different things that we're dealing with secretly. And we're wondering why we're dealing with the emptiness. We're not scared of it. Some of us are heartbroken over relationships that God didn't want for us. Oh, I just feel so heartbroken. It's not fair. God said don't do it. Your leaders are like, don't do it. He ain't worth it. He did it. I'll save that for Valentine's Day. We'll wait. Don't worry. We'll wait. Here's the thing. God saves us from our sin, but not the earthly consequences, okay? God saved us from the eternal condemnation to be damned to hell. We can, because we follow Jesus, but that doesn't mean that our actions don't have consequences, because we need to learn. But a lot of us don't even recognize it. So that's point number one. And this is not towards everything. Please know, it's not towards everything. Second thing, it's a spiritual attack. A lot of us are wondering, man, Pastor, why am I so angry all the time? And we don't recognize the doors we're opening spiritually, the music we listen to, the movies even we watch, things that are just straight up. I used to, can I be really vulnerable with you guys? Like really vulnerable? Like just when the Black Panther album came out, like the movie, and I liked the album, I started listening to it, and then all of a sudden, I started feeling angry, and I didn't even know there's certain rappers where they're just speaking death over each other. I'm pouring that into my life. And I don't recognize whatever I feed will lead. It's the spirit of the flesh. And I'm feeding my flesh a lot. And I'm feeding that anger. I'm feeding all these negative things that God's saying don't do it. And we're opening spiritual doors. And we're dismissing things that God's calling us away from. A lot of you guys think this doesn't apply to me. It applies exactly to you. If anything, extra on you. Because you're playing with fire right now. And God's telling you don't go near those things. And there's spiritual attacks over us. There's a battle between heaven and hell over your life. Over each and every one of your souls. And your lives are all precious. And I'm being real, but we're playing too many games with it. The third thing that happens, the third reason why bad things happen, and I don't like this one, I don't like saying it even, but it's for our own good. Jesus told his disciples, when he told them, hey, Lazarus is dead, he followed that up with, for your sake, I'm glad so you can believe. I don't know how many of you guys know James chapter 1, and it's a verse a lot of us know, and it talks about any hard times. Is that, oh, lovely, look at that. Okay, please help me out again. It says this, consider it pure whenever you face of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith, perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be and not lacking anything. So consider it pure what? Joy. It's saying like when you're going through a really hard time, and I hear about some struggles, and I want to feel bad for you guys, but it's saying you guys need to be joyful in that time. Because even though it sucks, there's a bigger purpose going on. God's doing something bigger in these things. Light times will never make anyone stronger. I've never heard anyone say, I got stronger after that vacation. I feel good. Like, no one will ever say that. Anyone who goes to the gym has heard of the word time under pressure. If you guys know, like some of y'all nodding here like, yes, I go to the gym, thank you, sure. But here's the time, when it's under that stress, when your muscles are under that pressure, when it's tearing, all those different things is what you need to go through to get stronger. You can't get stronger without going through some hard times. It's for our good because God is working something out in each and every one of us. So we have to rejoice in the middle of all this friendship drama that we're going through. It's like, what? But God's putting you through some wisdom right there. He's teaching you some lessons if you allow him to, if you don't keep your head down. God is testing our faith. He's building endurance, trying to make us stronger. Fourth thing, some bad things happen. This is my least favorite one because it is an evil world that we're living in. It's a sinful world with sinful consequences. Since Adam and Eve ate the fruit, since they chose to disobey God, they had free will, they fumbled it, the earth is cursed. There's a lot of bad things that happen naturally, and we have to deal with it. And I'm sorry, it sucks. It's a sinful world. All of us are born in sin. We've all chosen to sin. We've done sin. We do the things we don't want to do. It's all of us. And we're part of it, and we also have to experience it too, and it sucks. But God is working on a redemption plan. He's been working on it through Jesus since the moment Adam and Eve sinned. So it's not over, but a lot of stuff happens. But I want to give some of you guys a reality check, and I don't mean to condemn you guys when I say this, but a lot of us are keeping our head down saying, I don't deserve this bad thing happening to me. I didn't do anything. God doesn't do anything for me. And there's a quote I heard a while ago. It says this: God is always doing 10,000 things in your life, and you may only be aware of 3 of them. God's probably been doing more than 10,000 things. But we're just recognizing that barely a few. Sure, he gave me a roof over my head. Sure, but when you guys think about it, there are kids in the Congo right now, in the minefields. They're born into that. Do they deserve that? Why are we better than them? God is so faithful, and he's gracious to us. Every breath that we take is a gift from God. I'm not saying this to minimize your problems at all. I'm not minimizing your problems. I think it's valid, it's real, and I understand it, but don't minimize God's hand over your life, okay? Because he's working and he's doing great things. But also it's a sinful world, so I am sorry for what we're dealing with. But God is gracious to us, and every breath that we take is a blessing. And the last thing, sometimes we don't know why the bad things happen, guys. Some of these situations you'll look back on one day and you'll understand why. You'll be like, oh, thank you, God, so much for that thing. Some situations you'll never understand until you stand before God, and that's just kind of how life is. And I don't know why some bad things happen, and it breaks my heart when I look around the room, when I know some of your lives, when I know what you guys are experiencing. It breaks my heart, and I pray for you guys. There are some things that I wish I should never have to go through, and I don't know why they happen. But even though I don't know why these bad things happen, I know what God's doing during those hard times. And again, another verse I hope you guys know, and I want to speak this over you guys. I pray this for you guys. Romans 8:28. Is that verse? Oh, thank you. It says this. And we know that in, oh, please help me out. And we know that in God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Turn to your neighbor and say all things. The things that we cause ourselves, the thing that the world caused, the things that we don't even know why it's happening, all things. Even if we don't know why it's happening, we know what God's doing. He's using it all. And he's taking what the enemy meant for evil and he turned it for good. You know what Joseph told his brothers when he ran into them again? It was kind of awkward. He said, you know what? God took what you guys meant for harm and he actually used it for good. God took your situations, no matter how crappy they are, no matter how down bad they are, and he's turning it for good. He actually has a plan behind all those different things if we allow him to. Even in the pain, God can speak to you. Even in those hard times, if we allow him to. What I love is God is at work in your life. Even in the things where you're like, God abandoned me, he's literally in the background doing something with it. And he's creating opportunities if we allow him to. He's at work if we let him to. And this is why the third thing that I want to say to you guys. Some of you guys are questioning, man, what if it gets worse? I don't know if I can take it anymore. I don't know. I'm not feeling it anymore. My third point, faith over feeling, guys. Faith over feelings. The sun is behind those storm clouds. And here's the thing. Our feelings can get in the way of what's true. And the devil likes to speak lies over you guys. But that's why it's important that we take every thought captive and submit it before God. The Christians at that time, they were facing persecution. They were losing their kids. They were losing their loved ones. They were imprisoned, everything. But they knew the hope they had in the author that was writing their story. They knew the end goal that they were in. They knew what was waiting for them. So the 3 points. First one, God's on time, just not on our type of time. He runs on a different schedule, but he loves you guys. That's why he's doing it. Not because he's just waiting and he's lazy. No, he's working on something. He's always working something out. Second thing, it's okay to process the pain. The pain you go through is valid, and I'm sorry that you have to go through it. I know it sucks, but God's still in that. And third thing, faith over feelings. Don't forget what he's doing, and don't let your feelings dictate your faith. Now, my application is pretty simple, but it's hard. It's a hard one to swallow. The pain has a purpose. That's all it is. Every single painful thing you guys go through, it has a purpose. God's doing something in it. And even if God didn't cause, I don't think it's as simple as, oh, God called this person home, it's their timing. It could just be an evil world that we're living in that has death and has sickness. That's part of the curse. And some of it means unfortunate deaths or untimely things that happen to you guys. But even the most brutal of pains have a purpose that God's working out. And we don't know why it's happening. And I'm left with a lot more questions than answers with God. But all of it's an opportunity for God to move if we allow him to. Don't let it go to waste. The pain has a purpose. So my application is invite God in the pain. And what matters is how we respond to the pain. If it's a hard time from God, we invite God into it. If it's a hard time we brought in ourselves, invite God into it. I've caused things where I've cried and I've been like, God, this sucks. And I still invite, and he still worked through it. If it's a consequence of evil, invite God into it. Whatever it is, even if it's a mystery, invite God into it. It's easy to run to sin. It's easy to run to things that'll try to satisfy you, but it's not going to help you at the end of the day. What matters is that you come to God as you are. The devil doesn't want you to sit in the silence. He wants you to fill that void. He wants you to fill with all those different kinds of things that aren't going to help you. But when you sit in that silence, that's where God wants to speak the most to you. When you make that room for him, when you make yourself available to God, that's when he has purpose. That's where the purpose is right there. And God wants to be your strength in all these different kinds of things. Now, I told you guys a while earlier in the message that when I was 15 years old, my dad lost his job. It was an unfair situation. It was messy. And I don't know, some of you guys might relate to this. Some of you guys might have experienced something like that before, and it sucked. And I had to move around a lot. It was so unfair. I didn't know where we were going to live. I loved where I lived. I had my own room for a while, and then it got to a point where we moved around like a million times. I got embarrassed to tell my friends that I was moving again. And there was points where I slept on the couch because we didn't have, life was just so weird. And it just kept on moving in these ways where I didn't know what was happening, and I was frustrated. But my parents were still faithful to God. They still kept on serving him. They still kept on pushing through. And I'm grateful that God made these things work out. I'm grateful that it was one of the spiritually strongest seasons of my life that I look back and I'm jealous of my old self in that time, in that hard time, because I was faithful. I was committed. I kept on pushing through in that time. And God made it work out. And I'm happy that he did. And some of us are going through a hard time. But I want you to remember, those hard times are temporary. And God can use them. And it's scary giving it to him, but he wants to help you through it. And God, he won't take you out. He won't just pluck you out of your problems. He'll help you through them, though. He'll be with you every single step of the way. And he'll develop something so great. I don't know where the worship team is, but I just want to invite the worship team to come on up. And even though these things will work out, it still hurts. And I said it before, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to go through the grieving and all these different hard times. But what you do with it is what matters. What you do with those feelings is what will define you and what God can do in those things. I know I preached for a while now, but Jesus says, blessed are those who mourn, for they'll be comforted. So let's just close our eyes and bow our heads. If you're someone who's just going through a hard time right now, if it's a big hard time, if it's a small thing, whatever it is, I don't know what your life looks like. God sees you. He loves you, and he cries with you. When Jesus mourns, he cries for you too. He sees your problems, and even though he knows it's going to work out, he understands your pain, and he doesn't want you to go through it alone.